Hello, I'm so glad that you could join with me today. We'll do a collective reading, pull some cards, and see what messages lie within. If you're looking for some personal guidance, I'm more than happy to do so. Please reach out. Sometimes these cards tend to resonate with many, and sometimes they resonate with only select groups. But all the readings are infused with Reiki healing as well as other healing modalities and some good life coaching advice. So we definitely have some difficulties that some of you are facing with feels like the holidays in general, feeling some very, very obvious separation from the feelings of others, feeling disconnected, feeling a little bit isolated, feeling confused, maybe not fully understanding why things are taking place the way that they're taking place. This has been difficult for you, and I can feel this immense pain coming from some of you where uh, you are doing your best to hold on and continue pushing forward and to plaster a smile on your face and to do the things that are always suggested to do, the self-care, the self-love. But inevitably, we have to face our real feelings about the situation. We have to recognize where we really are and that we can't force other people to feel the way that we feel, that we can't force another person to see us for who we really are. We can't ask them to meet us where we are and to treat us with kindness and compassion. Um, we have to enforce our boundaries in a way that often leads to a very distinct separation. And that separation, initially, it can feel very empowering, but we're going to cycle through feelings of feeling very alone and very abandoned and just completely feeling a sense of grief from some of you that there is an immense pain that you're feeling. So Spirit is confirming here, as painful as it is, there is something to be gained from this situation. Inevitably, you will feel the feelings that come with the separation. You will grieve the loss of this connection. It will not be an immediate, empowering, I'm so glad that I did that type of a situation. It took several years for me to feel really powerful with my decision. It took um, several holidays of being alone and struggling through the day, trying to do anything I could possibly do just to feel like a human being, to feel like I was valuable and that I was loved. And it was not until I started to appreciate the moments of peace. It's not that you immediately feel a sense of relief and gratitude for holding your boundaries, but over time you start to feel a sense of peace. And that peace, when you compare it to the level of anxiety and the level of stress and the level of pain um, that you felt in the presence of these individuals, starts to become much, much more noticeable. And you start to really recognize and appreciate the peace, not necessarily some joyful experience that you go frolicking off and I'm so glad that I held my boundaries. It's actually a much more grueling experience than many people want to admit. And especially when you're putting on a face for social media, or you don't want the people that have hurt you to know how much they've hurt you. You've been doing your best to push past it and show them that you don't need them, that you're better off. But it isn't something that you truly feel all the time. You do feel very much as though you have left some of the most beautiful parts of yourself behind for people that never cared, or at least they cared about someone that you weren't, that this idea of who you were or who you were supposed to be. And so you've had to walk away from this, and you keep looking back hoping that someone is asking you to return, that somebody cares enough to try to be a part of fixing the situation, and it's just not occurring. So I'm feeling all of this pain from you, and I just want to let you know that you're not alone. You aren't. I know that it feels that way, but you are so worthy of peace. You are so worthy of feeling connected and loved. And when you are able to process these feelings and get through that, you're going to remember how much better off things will be for you. You will get to a new normal that starts to feel a lot better than it does right now. I can't promise you when, I can't give you some time frame. What I can tell you is that this feeling of disconnected, this feeling of abandonment, this feeling of being very disoriented and confused about what do I do with myself today? What do I do with myself tomorrow? You're going to do whatever feels right in the moment. If in the moment it feels right to cry in the shower and put on some comfy pajamas and crawl into bed, then that's what you're going to do. If it feels right to make yourself a delicious treat and overindulge a little bit, then that's what you're going to do. If it feels like you want to do something completely opposite of what anyone would expect you to do because the thought of doing something that reminds you of that place you came from, that you left behind, is just devastating to you, then that's what you do. You do what makes you feel okay. It's not going to necessarily feel great. It's not going to necessarily feel like I'm awesome and I'm better off, because you're still feeling that pain. And especially, there's certain times of year that we all feel it a little bit more deeply and a little bit more, it hurts a little bit more. It's a little bit like ripping off a band-aid every year. Over and over again, you think, oh, this wound is healed, and then the bandage gets ripped off and something gouges it, and then you're healing that next layer. So right now, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be anyone. You don't have to pretend. You can do whatever you can do. And that's enough, and that's perfect. So we have the hangman here as well, just to give you permission to just exist. Just existing is enough today. And if that's all you can do, that's enough. If you can't get out of bed today, then that's okay. You're still breathing. That's enough. You do what you can do. And as long as you are existing, you're still winning. It will get easier. You will keep going. You will find that new normal. But today, if what you need to do is just be, just be. That's all you need to do. We're here with you. You need a safe space. Feel free to message me or leave a comment so that we can be a part of this with you and we can share this with you. I'm going to continue on with this message of keeping things simple. Let's find balance. This card says, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. You're not judging yourself either. You're not criticizing what it is that you've chosen either. You recognize that in order for you to feel powerful, there are times that you will not feel strong. And sometimes it's easier to just not have a plan, to just go with the moment. Nothing has to be complicated or elaborate. I remember the first time that I was able to really feel good about a day that would have been very different for me before I was enforcing my boundaries was the simplest day that I could have made it. I took a long hot shower and I used all of my favorite smelly things. And I spent a long time applying lotion and massaging the parts of my body that felt tense. I didn't do anything elaborate, but I put on things that felt very comfortable to me, much like I'm dressed today. I don't need to dress up for anyone. I just wanted to feel good in my own skin. It wasn't about matching, it was about what felt nice to me in that moment. And then I went and set about making a nice cup of coffee, cocoa or tea, and I put it in my favorite mug. And then I curled up and I watched probably a full season of a show that I've seen a lot. But it was comfortable and it was warm and it was simple. Later, I made some art. I didn't think it was very good, so I threw it away. I just made it a very easy day for myself. I took everything in the moment and just did what felt okay for me. It didn't have to be elaborate or complicated. You don't have to make a massive dinner to impress anyone. You can make yourself a nice bowl of soup and some bread. If you want to make that bread or you want to get it from a bakery, doesn't matter. Whether you make an elaborate dessert or you simply put an apple in the oven with some brown sugar and cinnamon and butter and put a scoop of ice cream on top. It can be as simple as feels right to you in the moment. You don't have to do all the things that you used to do. You don't have to be that person. There's nobody that you need to impress. It's just about existing, just being comfortable with yourself and finding a happiness and a joy in being able to do that in this moment. And you can do things differently next time if you want to, if you feel like it, but it's not necessary. It can just be nothing. You can order takeout. You don't have to do the dishes. You don't even have to get out of bed if you don't want to. We're finding a sense of balance. We're trying to recognize that for all the hustle and bustle that we endure, for all the day to day grind, the hard work, the push, the consistency, the facing our problems head on, and the go, go, go of life becomes so overwhelming and so exhausting that there's times that the best thing that you can do for yourself is none of that. Give yourself the opportunity to have both. You're normally a very hardworking person. You deserve an equal amount of rest. You're normally a very diplomatic person that does everything possible to make people happy and comfortable in your presence. Today is about you feeling comfortable in your own presence, and that's it. You don't need to accommodate anyone else today if you don't want to. It's about achieving a sense of equilibrium. And when things get too much, we often have these expectations for ourselves. Well, I have to do this. I have to present. I have to cook. I have to clean. I have to do all these things. I have to dress up. I have to get the kids ready. I have to wrap the presents, and the presents have to be wrapped a certain way, and they have to be positioned under the tree. We have to do it this way. You don't, because those are things that are for other people to see a side of you that you present to them. And it doesn't have to be about that. It can just be about existing and feeling comfortable with yourself and rest and rejuvenation and relaxation. We have just gotten past the solstice. We're just going to start seeing more sunlight again. Thank goodness that we have passed that point. Many of us are struggling with the D3. So maybe today is you take some D3 and you curl up in bed and you take a long nap and you just take some time to recover. Tomorrow is another day. And eventually you'll get back to the grind and you'll be back in that mode, and you'll feel better about it because you took the time to just give yourself what you needed today, which was keeping it very simple and allowing yourself some balance. I hope this message helps you today. This is part 3 of this reading, and while this section may resonate with some, it may not resonate with all. So some of you may have felt more called to the first 2 videos, and some of you may feel more called to this section. This is for those who have already put that healing period into place. They have done the steps to release the pain. They have been present in all of the moments and have now found themselves very much in tune with what's next for them, really truly starting to understand the next steps and the next phase in their evolution and their healing and who they are and what it is that they want without the influence of others. Having this sacred purpose provides a sense of belonging to us, even when we don't necessarily feel connected with others. Even if you don't know where your soul tribe is, even if you haven't connected with that chosen family yet, when we become aware of our purpose, it's almost like we're drawn into other individuals with the same experiences and feelings. And so we can feel like family just among strangers. I've connected with some of you through these videos who recognize my soul as one that feels familiar to them, and I feel connected to you as well. That's my purpose and my calling, and you've been drawn to my account and these readings with that same kind of sense of purpose as well. So we're here on this journey together during this time so that we don't feel alone, so that we always feel like there's somebody else out there for us. We have the cracked open. This is about surrendering to the alchemy of life. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but you did it anyway. You allowed it to carry you where it carried you, and it was an unexpected situation. It was not how you thought it would pan out. It turned out to be a lot different, and you trusted it because it felt better than the way you'd felt before. When you did hold your boundaries, even though you went through periods of feeling alone, you also felt seen and recognized from complete strangers. And that let you know that you were on the right path the entire time. Just felt right. You've been taking all of these experiences that have come to you and creating something beautiful from it. You've been creating connection. You've been creating a healing from these wounds, and you've been sharing that healing journey with others so that they can take those pieces and those lessons as well and apply them to their own life. You've taken your struggles and you've used them to feel more empowered and more in tune with your life. You've never accepted defeat. When you were faced with a challenge, you said, well, then I'm going to find a solution. And you did so with such grace. Spirit wants you to know that you are an incredibly powerful magician. It's not about rituals. It's about being true to oneself, about getting rid of the distractions, getting rid of the negative energy, getting rid of the toxic situations, walking away from those superficial things, lust and satisfaction that come from these material situations that ultimately just deplete us. And instead, you focused on yourself in such a healthy way. You've just done so much for yourself that you have become an inspiration to people that you'll never even know their name. You inspire me by continuing on this journey, by being here in this life with me. Because anyone who can still stick it out is a hero in my eyes. The soul radiance, you are a phoenix rising from the ashes. You have been beaten down, you had burned up, you had exhausted everything, and yet you rose up again. You transmuted everything that was delivered to you and made it into something absolutely incredible. You made it into who you are today. You became such a beautiful soul because of everything that you've been through. And then all of that, you shower out into the world, you give back to more people because you understand. You've been there. You took all those experiences and you survived them and you thrive now. And you've been able to share that wisdom and that love and that compassion with others because you know what that's like. And every time you do that, you recreate yourself into a better version. Every time you overcome a difficulty, you are reborn into a stronger version of the self. You become more and more beautiful each season. You look in the mirror and you might see, well, I'm aging, or this is not the way it used to be, or my body's not perfect, but your heart is incredible. Your mind is sharp, clear, and that is what makes you absolutely incredible. Just a stunning marvel in the world, a beauty to behold. You are a beautiful angel, and you've done such a great job with your life. It's been tough, but you know where you're headed and you know who you are now. And that makes all the difference. You can go through anything and survive, and you know it now. You are unstoppable. Your confidence shines through because everything that you've endured, you've survived. Nothing scares you anymore. I think you're amazing. Thank you so much for joining with me today. I would love to hear from you in the comments. I absolutely love to connect with those who feel these messages deeply within their soul and their spirit. We're a soul tribe, a heart tribe of healers. We belong together in this journey. Much love to you.